How we doozin', how we doozin'? Back here with a second day recap here of the $1,500 challenge, day 2 of the 30 total trading days, so 28 left. Today was a break even day for me on 2 trades. Um, Once again, the key that I have been missing, uh, patience, 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 of just not had the patience on these plays. I think it's the small account. It's so psychological having to deal with that, seeing your P&L go red and trying to take that psychological part out of it and sticking to your plan. Now, not to say I didn't stick to my plan, but I I let the big picture get away from me with the small account because I'm trying not to take any big losses. So on my first trade today on ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch, we had this huge gap up, and our classic huge gap up, up over $3, about $3 gap up, and we faded nicely right into the open. So what I like to do on these fading into the open, this is one of my go-to setups. Huge gap up, fading into the open. Although it's a bigger company, so it trades a little differently. Still the fundamentals of the strategy remain the same. So right here at the open, we get this poor spike, doesn't even get through VWAP. Now, I normally like to see it go higher, um, the original spike, but the spike was so weak and we didn't even crack VWAP that I thought we were going to get this fade that we did get. I thought we were going to get that right away. So I hopped in 500 shares at 407 here on this first red candle, and my my risk was going to be VWAP. We crocked back up above that. I was going to get out because I thought that we would have created a lower high or a higher low like we did here, and we would get that push back up and stay above VWAP and keep going. Well, what happened was we get a higher low, and once we got that higher low, we pushed right above VWAP, and I took off at 417. For a $50 loss because I'm trying to keep my losses to an extreme minimum with the small account. Well, what I did was let the big picture of the play get away from me here, and we only squeezed up another not even 30 cents, or sorry, not even 20 cents to 14.35. So my original short was at 14.07, so about 30 cents from where my original buy was. So that would mean I would have been down unrealized $150 about at the top of this candle, as high as it got in the morning. Now, if I'm trading a larger account, that's no big deal. Like, I sit there and I keep this play in mind, like, okay, if we start to get really out of hand, then I'll cut it. But we were at 14.35 was the high there on the morning spike. There really was no volume here in the morning, so this whole gap up was kind of bogus. So I mean, I should have kept the bigger picture in mind here for the morning. Um and I didn't. I got out for the $50 loss, and I got frustrated because it was a solid play, and 8 out of 10 times these setups work. It's a bigger company, though it trades differently, but still, I let the big picture get away from me because I'm with the small account, and I blew it. So normally, what I could have done here, 14.07, we only went up another 20 cents from my risk level, only 20 more cents, not even from VWAP. I could have let it play out. I could have added as we shown weakness here. Um, but that's the thing with having the small accounts. I don't have the ability to add more shares like I would normally. So I cut my loss. Now, obviously, hindsight, it was a bad loss to cut. But if we went back up. If we hit another lower or another higher low and moved up more, then it would have been a good loss to cut. But just a bogus trade for me. It was a good setup. It worked in the morning perfectly. I just cut my loss too quickly. I took the bigger picture of the trade. I let it get away from me. That's where using indicators like VWAP could that hinder you at some point. If you like, I took into account VWAP too. I was too rock hard on that risk. I mean, with a small account, you need to have that risk level and you need to cut it. But if I don't have VWAP in there and I see that go up that high, I might be reluctant to cut and I might let it play out. Well, what happened was we got this little consolidation phase right in here for the first half hour of the morning, and we ended up getting that crack, and we hit a low in the morning of 13.30, 13.31. That's 70 cents, 75 cents from my initial short. So plenty of room to cover into on this way down. So I missed a solid trade there with a $50 loss. We did end up getting this massive squeeze with volume in the afternoon, but I would have been cut by then anyway. Once we find this bottom down here and consolidate and start to move up, I'm out. I would have been out. I would probably have been out on this pull back right here into the 1350s. That would have been a $250 gain right there. But so that was my first trade, ANF. Like I said, I'm just letting the small count get to me. I have to trade as if it's not a small account. And I know that's tough and it might sound counterintuitive, but I feel like that's the way I have to go. I can't let my losers get out of hand because a couple big losers and I'm done. The challenge is over. And I don't want that to happen, but it's plays like this where if I had just let it go that little bit more. I know it's tough to say that because you say that go a little bit more, but this was a solid setup, and honestly, I probably could have let it play out. Like I said, the max I would have been down about 150, and what we had 75 cents, so I had a 30, 2-to-1 risk reward over that to the bottom of this, from top to bottom, but. I'm just going back and looking at it, hindsight, obviously, but I got to get better on with my patience. But I did set my risk, and I cut up my risk, so you learn, you live and you learn, you trade and you learn. So my second and final trade on the day was on PIRS, going to the daily. Perfect breakout setup. We just didn't have the volume today, and I was so reluctant to trade this because the volume wasn't there, and I knew it wasn't gonna break out like it should because we didn't have the volume. I knew it wasn't gonna break out like it should have, but I went ahead and took the trade anyway. The breakout level was right there, right here at $4. 397 was the high of this candle, but the $4 whole dollar break was what I was going for. And you see how the volume we had on this day. If we could have had that today, there's no doubt this is pushing through 4 and holding easily. That's just my opinion, but that's what I would have seen if we had the volume. We didn't have the volume, so let's go to the 1-minute chart. I picked it up when we were in here in the mid 380s or high 380s. We literally touched that 397 mark and came back, pulled back. And when we made this push up here, I seen volume increasing, and I hopped in on this big volume candle here at 402. And we just couldn't get that push. We didn't have enough volume today. And I took off at 408. At the top of this candle, I just put a sell in for 408 and got filled. I this is one where this is a good sell because obviously I was at the top of this candle. We didn't it wasn't a smart trade to take to begin with because the volume wasn't there. Um so I I made the right decision selling. If I had let it go any longer, 402, then we had this crack down here, 380s. That's $150 loss. So yeah, so I got honestly got as much as I could out of it, unless I was buying in down here anticipating the breakout. But I never like to do that. I like to bypass the breakout. Show me that it's got the strength. But we didn't have the volume, but I took it anyway, 1,000 share position, because with Sure Traders buying power, I could get the 1,000 shares with the small account, and I wanted to see if maybe we could get some crazy volume spike with the +4. Maybe we could get some crazy squeeze, and I could hit out for a couple $100 gain. Didn't happen. So I took off at 408, and I got a $60 gain. So I scratched out both trades, pretty much dead even. Maybe $10 profits, but I'm gonna call it dead even. The first trade, solid setup. I took it and I cut too quickly and it didn't work for me. This trade, not so solid with setup because we didn't have the volume. The daily setup was perfect. We just didn't have the volume for the breakout. I took it and cut off early. It was a good sell because we didn't retest till later. We did hang out around here in the 480s, the 390s, back up here in the fours, and we got up to a high of 417. So yeah, if I held, but we're way overextended now, and there wasn't enough volume. See, we were getting these huge 10-15 cent cracks here, so just sold off, wasn't comfortable holding, and now we're holding the fours here. We're up in the fours after hours. So I'm going to keep this on watch for tomorrow. Maybe we see some volume. I don't know. Maybe we get a PR, but we are overextended here. So yeah, those are my two trades today, even on the day. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there right now. So yeah, I only took two trades today. That's what I kind of want to keep it to. I want to try and stay within a couple trades in a day. I want to try not to overtrade. We'll just put 0 in there for even. So I know I made a trade. So we're 2 days in, $150. We're gonna try and pick it up tomorrow. Hopefully I can grab a good winner here. I missed let's see, what did I miss today? The squeeze on, was it MTBC? This squeeze in the morning. Said ample opportunity to get in. Could have squeezed. Could have got in just above that $3 hole level. This is another one where I probably could have utilized my buying power. I tried to short this on the way back down, and Sure Trader, although it allowed me to short, I could have only took I think, I don't know, 250 shares or something, so it wasn't worth it to me with risk reward. I tried to get short on this way down here once we pretty much double topped here in the high 370s. It looked weak, and it did end up fading off the rest of the day. And now we're down into the 220. So, I mean, actually, a couple hundred shares, that would have been a good short. Now that you look at it, I didn't know it faded that far off the rest of the day. But, yeah, so that was my two trades today. We will be back tomorrow morning with another day, and hopefully we can push closer to this goal for the small account. All right, thank you. Peace.